Hey, I'd love to go over just a little morning sequence to help kind of wake up your lymphatic system. This is something that I do every morning. I feel like as soon as we wake up, our blood and our lymph is most thick, so it's like a little bit stickier. And so have a nice glass of water and follow along with me. So we're going to be doing a couple things. The Big Six, Dr. Perry's Big Six, which is a great way to focus on the areas where our lymphatic fluid tends to get stuck. We're going to mobilize those areas and change the pressure in the lymphatic system. And that's going to increase circulation throughout the whole body. And then we'll be going through a couple movements to kind of help propel that lymphatic fluid. The series is something that you can totally customize. You can move things around, add things that feel good, and it's better than a cup of coffee. So let's start with the Big Six. So we're going to be doing this in a very specific order. And that's to work with the anatomy and physiology of our body. So for point number one, we're going to press behind the collarbones to change the pressure in the lymphatic system to create a vacuuming effect. So take your hands and crisscross them over your collarbones. And you can press your fingertips down into the triangular space, like at the top of the shoulder here. So take a couple nice breaths while you're doing this, creating a nice grounding practice. And we'll rub these areas for about 10 to 15 seconds. So once our lymphatic fluid is kind of cleaned and filtered by our lymph nodes, it goes back into circulation as the liquid component of our blood, plasma. For point number two, we're going to work the sides of the neck. We've got two major lymph node chains that run through here. It's draining our face, our brain, our teeth, our tongue, everything above. And then we also have our vagus nerve, which is a huge part of our nervous system, part of what makes relaxation possible. So we're going to take our wrist and put them together and make like a little seat. And I want you to hug your neck. So what we're going to be doing is pressing backwards and down, gentle pressure here, creating like a pumping motion that's guiding the lymphatic fluid out of these lymph node chains and back into circulation. So we'll do this for 10 to 15 seconds. You might even feel some saliva production here. It's very stimulating for our relaxation, that rest and digest part of our nervous system. Point number three is the axillary lymph nodes. So we've got a ton of lymph nodes in here, about 20 to 50 on either side, and these are draining our upper quadrants, our breast, our chest, arms, fingers, all of it. So you can take your hand and put it behind your head, and then take the other hand and place it just right over your armpit and start making some nice circular motion. So we're kind of pushing the lymph out of these lymph nodes to make room for more lymphatic fluid. And if it's uncomfortable to bring your arm above your head, you can rest it down on your hip. As long as you can fit your hand in there, you're doing it right. And then switch sides. A couple more nice deep breaths. Point number four, we've got a third of the lymph nodes in our body here in our abdomen. So we're going to mobilize this area just by placing one hand over the belly button, stacking the other, and make a nice circular motion here. So this is going to be helpful for mobilizing blood and lymph in our gastrointestinal tract. We're going to be creating a nice relaxation effect here because the other end of your vagus nerve is down here, kind of snakes through the whole body. And then you can switch directions and go the other way. This is also really helpful for that morning bowel movement. Point number five is the inguinal lymph nodes, just right here in the crease of the hip. Take both hands and just place them over the hip creases and start making some circular motions. Clear out this lymphatic fluid to help with the drainage from the lower body. And then give that a little slap. Now, point number six, we actually have a couple lymph nodes behind our knee. These are the popliteal lymph nodes. So if you have congestion in your lower leg specifically, this is a great area to spend a little bit more time. So we're just going to rub above and below the joint here And you can give that a little tap. Just really work these areas. So now we've got everything flowing. We've changed the pressure, we've got some lymph moving, and you should already feel kind of invigorated. But there's no pump for our lymphatic system, so we kind of have to move it a little bit ourselves. So what we're going to do is just finish the big 6 with gentle rebounding on the balls of the feet. It's low impact, and this is almost creating like a rebounding effect that helps propel that lymph through the lymphatic vessels to kind of push it up through those one-way valves. And you can do this as long as it feels good. You don't have to stick to that 10 to 15 seconds. If you wanted to add a little bit deeper vibration, if you want vibration that goes through your organs, through the center of your thoracic cavity, through all of this area and the limbs, maybe shaking Qigong is the way to like turn the volume up a little bit. So instead of just bouncing on the balls of the feet, direct that pressure down into your heels. So every time you raise up and come down, you're kind of striking the heel. And so once you feel comfortable with that, speed up that motion, and you can even hear the difference in my voice. This is a much deeper vibration. Now let's mobilize our joints. So we're just going to do the shoulder and the hip. So those major clusters, the inguinals and the axillary clusters, we have to mobilize that joint to create that pumping motion. So we're going to do something called paint the globe with the shoulder. You want to pretend like you're standing in an imaginary snow globe, and you just want to paint the inside of the surface. So pick up your imaginary paintbrush and you just start painting. So what this does, our shoulder joint is it can do the most things in regards to joint capability in our body. So it's like the most mobile joint that we have. And so all the different ways that we can move this shoulder, that's what this move does. To create a little bit more fluidity in our movement, to create pain-free movement. It's great. You're never going to be able to paint the whole surface of the globe, but we're just going to try here. And then switch sides. I learned this move from Katie Bowman in her book, Move Your DNA. So good. And I do this every morning. I teach it to all my breast cancer clients. Anybody that's had breast cancer reconstruction, so helpful for restoring mobility and function in the shoulder joint. All right, so now we're going to be doing CARs. This is controlled articular rotations. So for the hips, what we're going to do is take our hip through its natural range of motion, whatever that is for you. So we'll start by kind of bringing our knee up out in front of us, and I want you to kick it out to the side like you're opening a door. Now we're going to turn a little bit as we rotate our leg back and behind us, and then come back down, so kind of closing the door. So now let's reverse that. Controlling that movement, whatever we're able to do, bringing that leg out in front of us and then back down. So you could repeat this maybe like 3 or 4 times. If you find an area that feels kind of sticky, stay with that. Floss it, open it up a little bit. All right. And don't forget to add a little bit of mobilization for your rib cage. You can add some CARs for your wrist, CARs for your ankle. Really joint by joint, you can move things around and really stimulate the system every single day. It's going to be supportive for your immune system. It's going to help your body clear toxins, keep that fluid balance. So if you've got a little bit of puffiness or fluid accumulation, this is so helpful. Thanks so much.